Dear students, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, you will learn about the various concepts of economics in a short period of time. Let's start. Today's topic is change in demand. We all know that the demand for goods and services changes over the period of time. So the demand for the goods and services changes because of the various factors like the price of the commodity, like season, like income, like taste and preference of the consumer, customs and tradition, etc. So all these factors can be classified into the two categories. One is the price factor, and others are the non-price factor. So the change in the demand can be studied under the two headings, that is movement along the demand curve and shift in the demand curve. So the movement along the demand curve means it is also called the change in the quantity demand. So the movement along the demand curve shows that there is the change in the quantity demand for the goods and services due to the change in the price of the commodity and other things remaining the same. If the other things remaining the same, if there is the change in the price of the commodity, the quantity demand increases or decreases. If the price of the commodity increases, the quantity demand decreases, and vice versa. So when the price of the commodity decreases, the quantity demand increases, and it's called the expansion of demand. Whereas if the price of the commodity increases and the quantity demand decreases, it is called the contraction of demand. So the movement along the demand curve can be studied with the help of the following diagram. Now, all of you in this diagram, x-axis measure the quantity demand and the y-axis measure the price of the commodity. So here D D1 is the demand curve, and in this demand curve, suppose this E1 is the initial equilibrium point, and when the price of the commodity is OP1, the quantity demand is OQ1. Now, as the price of the commodity increases from OP1 to OP2, here we just make a line up to this demand curve, and from here just make the line perpendicular to the x-axis Q2, and this point is E2. Here, as the price of the commodity increases from OP1 to OP2, the quantity demand decreases from OQ1 to OQ2. Here, the point move along the same demand curve from E1 to E2. When the point move from E1 to E2, the quantity demand decreases from OQ1 to OQ2, and it is called the contraction of demand. Here it's called the contraction of demand, contraction in demand. Similarly, when the price of the commodity decreases from OP1 to OP3, the 3, just make a line which touches the demand curve, and from here just make the line perpendicular to the x-axis. Here, when the price of the commodity decreases from OP1 to OP3, the quantity demand increases from OQ1 to OQ3, and here this point is E3. Here, from movement of the point from E1 to E3, where the quantity demand increases as the decrease in the price of the commodity. So as the demand is increasing, so it's called the expansion in expansion in expansion in demand. Here what we have to understand is that in the movement along the demand curve, the price of the commodity only changes, and the other factors which affects the demand remain constant or they remain same. So this is the movement along the demand curve. So the second one is the shift in the demand curve. Shift in the demand curve, price of the commodity remain the same, and the other determinants which affect the demand changes. So that leads to the shift of the demand curve to the upward right or to the downward left. So that is called the shift in the demand curve. And in the shift in the demand curve, except the price of the commodity, other things changes, but the price remain the same. So in the shift in the demand curve, let's understand it by the following diagram. So here, as the price is constant in the shift in the demand curve, so we have to make a line which is parallel to the x-axis, which shows that the price of the commodity is constant, which is OP1. Now, suppose initially the demand curve is D1, it is intersect at point E1. Now here the quantity demand is OQ1. Let us suppose the price of the commodity is the same, but the income of the consumer increase, which is the non-price factor. When the income of the consumer increase, then that leads to the increase in the demand. So the demand curve shift to the right, right, upward from D1 to D2, D2, and this point name it as E2. From here, just make the line perpendicular to the x-axis, and this point is Q2. With the increase in the income of the consumer, price remaining the same, the demand for that commodity increases from OQ1 to OQ2, and it is called the increase in demand. Increase in demand. Consumer suppose decreases, price of the commodity remain the same. The demand for the goods and services decreases, so the demand curve shift to the leftward from D1 to D3, and name this as E3. Make a line downward to x-axis, and this point is Q3. So when the income of the consumer decreases, which is the non-price factor, the quantity demand also decreases from OQ1 to OQ3, and it is called the decreasing demand. Decrease in demand. That means, in conclusion, the movement along the demand curve happens due to the change in the price of the commodity, other factors remaining the constant. On the other hand, in the shift in the demand curve, the non-price factor changes, but the price of the commodity remains constant. Thank you for watching my video. If you find this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe my channel.